Five or Flop, a podcast for the best and worst historical fiction has to offer. I'm your host, Erin.
And I'm Grace, and each week we'll be reading a different historical fiction book to see if they're a five or a flop.
So our theme for season 2 is Booktok and Bestsellers, so we're reading some current, some previous bestsellers, or ones we see on Booktok. And this one kind of falls into that category, but I would say it's more popular from the hit Netflix television show. That's right, this week we're reading Romancing Mister Bridgerton by Julia Quinn.
This is an interesting one, because when we say that the season theme is bestsellers and book talk, this one is both.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, these books had a second life. They came out in the early, mid-2000s.
This book I double-checked was 2002.
2002? Okay, so that started in the 90s then,
yeah.
I think. And now they have gotten a new life because of the television show.
And as we know, the new season is premiering this week. I will be watching it all immediately because I love Bridgerton.
Yes, and actually, I think this is controversial with people, but I love it. It's 8 episodes, and they're splitting it up into 2 different 4-episode releases.
I'm not as big of a fan of that.
Okay. See, I don't mind because I'm like, it keeps you in the moment longer. Like, I don't want to just binge it all and be done.
Okay, that's kind of how I feel. So as we know, at the time of filming this, it's early in season 7 of Young Sheldon, which is currently my favorite show of all time. And it comes out weekly releases. So every Friday at work, I'm like sitting on my computer watching it. I'm like, ooh, a new burst of serotonin's out.
Okay, I hope no one from your work is listening to this. Or you just admit that you watch Young Sheldon while you're working.
It's 30 minutes. I don't think they care.
It's always on your lunch break that you watch Young Sheldon?
Of course. It's not like me and Santiago constantly have Desperate Housewives playing all hours of the day.
All right, before we get too much into Bridgerton, let's just talk about how we've been doing. Erin, what's up this week?
I am currently in the middle of trip planning, and I think the funny thing is that by the time this episode airs, I will have been back from this trip already. But in early May, I'm going to Madrid with Santiago.
That is so funny because last week you were like, oh my gosh, we're doing all this moving stuff. I'm in my poor era. And now you're like, anyway, off to Madrid, buy pores.
Well, we use credit card points.
You are the queen of credit card flight miles.
So I used it for both of our flights. So we each paid $200 for round-trip flights.
That's
we each
crazy.
paid $100 for a week of hotels. So it's cheap right now, but I'm revamping from my poor era, so we're going to be balling while we're there.
Okay. And just for reference, I am not the queen of credit card points, so I paid double what you're paying round-trip to Madrid to go to Savannah. So just for reference.
I love credit card miles. It's amazing. If anyone wants my advice, email us 5floppodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, I'm super excited. So like I said, by the time this airs, because you know Grace and I filmed this so early, I will have already been back from Madrid. But at this time, I am in the exciting part of it, of planning.
I can't wait until season 3 of the pod when you can tell us about how much fun you had in Madrid.
Yeah, literally. We're the worst. I need to be like sneakier about the fact that we film early. Huh?
Yeah, you are tattling on us to everybody. We don't have to tell them.
This is just so you know, we're not sitting around on our asses during the season 1, season 2 break.
We are using this time to work. As Kim Kardashian says, get your ass up and work.
Literally,
nobody wants to work these days.
Nobody wants to work these days. Okay, what's up with you?
Well, this weekend, 2 of our roomies are going to be running the half marathon here in DC.
Not me about to ask who the second one was.
Okay.
I know. It's Conrad and Hannah, and also my other friend Matt are all running. And also Charlotte, Conrad's girlfriend.
That's right. I forgot about Charlotte, even though I did know that. Sorry, girl. And I didn't know about Matt, so I don't feel bad about that. But yeah, we randomly have these like speed demon roommates that are like, oh yeah, I'm going to run a half marathon. And we're like they'll come back from being out somewhere and I'm like, oh, where were you? And they were like, oh yeah, I ran 17 miles by accident.
Oh my God. I remember one time, like pretty newly after I moved from TC, Conrad's like, oh, I accidentally ran to Maryland. It is straight uphill and like 20 miles back and forth.
Conrad's crazy fast, but we need him to be fast because we have someone who we know who's a runner who we like to make fun of a little bit.
We don't actually know this person, but it's the kind of person who is like...
Do you ever just designate someone as an enemy?
Yeah, and they're like a very important character in your life and they have no idea who you are? That's who we're talking about.
Anyway, so we're like, Conrad, you have to be faster than her.
When they both did the Cherry Blossom half mile, or half...
10K.
When they both did
10 miler.
Yeah, when they both did the Cherry Blossom 10 miler last year, which is a race here in DC, there's an app where you can like see people's run times. And me, Grace, and my boyfriend Santiago were in a group chat and we're like, oh my God, he's beating her. He's doing it.
Okay, also, let me just tangent. That technology is so crazy how they give you that little disposable like bib number when you run a race. and it literally had like a little GPS tracking chip in it, so we could see like on our phones real time like where they were running.
It's insane.
It was absolutely wild. And I think like 20K people run that race or something like that.
I will say the best part of our friends doing a half marathon is afterwards, we all get to go and get margaritas.
Yes, and pupusas.
So
they need to replenish their, you know, their salt and their carbs.
They're going to get tanked off half a margarita.
And then we're just like, woohoo!
Okay, what are you reading right now?
Honestly, neither of us are really reading much that we can talk about because we're both swamped reading pod books.
Yeah, it's true.
I've picked up a couple romance novels, like put them back down because I'm like, whatever, like these aren't that great, and I just like have other priorities that I need to be getting to. Mm-hmm. So I think you'll hear a little later this season about what we've been reading.
Yes, same for me too. Although I have been listening to more audiobooks, but I am just waiting on Libby to give me some holds, so I might check out the Spotify audiobook thing.
Yeah.
So reviews to come on that.
Okay. Well, here, instead of talking about our relationship with Bridgerton as media after we get into the synopsis and the author bio, I think we should do it up front.
Bridgerton, season 1, right smack in the middle of COVID. If it might have been early 21 or late 2020 when it came out. Mm-hmm. I don't really remember. But I know I was living at home with my mom, and I was working, oh my God, it was awful. I was working at my high school mall at H&M. But I made great friends there. And they're like, Erin, you have to watch Bridgerton. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I did. Oh my God. I love it.
It is so Grace and Erin core.
It is. And this was well before we knew each other. That was probably like 3 years before we knew each other. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
I love it. I rewatched it with my mom. It's season 1 especially. You don't maybe want to watch with your mom.
No, you don't.
But I mean, I did. I don't care.
Yeah, I think I've said this on the show before. I have a weird relationship to Bridgerton in that I adore and have watched and rewatched season 2, and I've never seen season 1.
Oh my God, yeah, I always forget that. I like season 1. However, Daphne was my least favorite Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Anthony is my favorite Bridgerton.
Well, also
Colin, y'all are about to hear my fucking thoughts about Colin.
Well, also though, because of my love for Bridgerton season 2 and my, 2022, I have always been a huge reader, but 2022, I was, finishing up grad school. I got back into my reading era.
No job.
Big
just
time.
Vibes.
Okay, I did get a job at some point. In fact, I read all of the second Bridgerton book at work, at my job that I got midway through the year.
Incredible. And yet I'm not allowed to watch Young Sheldon at work.
On my lunch break. Anyway, because I loved them so much and I was reading, mm-hmm. I was like, I know, I'm going to read all of the Bridgerton books. So in 2022, I did read them all. There are 8 of them. In case
and
you
they're
are...
not short. Well, they're 300.
They're romance novel length.
Yeah, they're not a short book. They're a decent length to read 8 of them.
To read 8, that is true. If you use Storygraph like we do, if you read an author more than once, it tracks your multiple read authors. And my most read author that year was Julia Quinn. Yes.
God.
But in case you don't know, the Bridgerton books and the Bridgerton TV show, in theory, follow the 8 Bridgerton siblings, and they have names that are... This drives me a little bit crazy. They are named in alphabetical order, but the books do not go in alphabetical order. So I'm always
But the books reference them being named in alphabetical order.
I'm just why would you not put them in order? So it's Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca, Gregory, and Hyacinth.
That's way better than what I would have gotten 4.
Well, I know because I read them all.
That's true. So for the books, I have read, after I watched Bridgerton season 1, before Bridgerton season 2 was out, I read the first book. Didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Tried to read the second one. Didn't like it.
Okay.
So this is...
And then I made you read this one.
Yeah, and then I had to read this one.
And this is the 4th one.
Yeah.
So this is a confusing thing because Romancing Mister Bridgerton, it's the 4th book, but it's the 3rd season of the show.
Yes.
And I posit, for any viewers of the show or readers of the book, I think it's because they want to really wrap up this Lady Whistledown business.
I think so too. And also they've made Colin already such a big character.
Yeah, they kind of need to close the chapter on him.
They have to clear him and Penelope up before.
Exactly. It's like how Simon and Daphne are kind of done. I think this is going to be kind of the last season where we see Kate and Anthony, and then they're going to be kind of shuffled out.
Yeah, minorly on the side. You'll see him every once in a while.
Yeah. So I think you just need the one reminder of look how happy they are. Anyway, now Jonathan Bailey has a lot of other acting work to do, so we can't get him back.
Look at this baby. Oh, okay, that's it.
Exactly. So here, let's get into the plot, because I think from what I have seen in terms of press releases, so not only are we recording this before the show comes out, we're releasing it a couple days before.
Yes.
So we haven't seen the show. The show is going to follow a little bit of a different plot than the book.
Okay.
Which I think is a good idea. Season 1...
I don't know how it could follow the same plot as the book once we talk about the plot.
We'll get there. Season 1, I think, followed it basically exactly. I don't think they changed that much. And then in Season 2, they followed it pretty closely up until about halfway through. Okay. And then the back half is, like, kind of all invented.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Giving our disclaimer a little early, there will be spoilers not only for the book, but for the show in this episode.
Yes.
We can't avoid it.
Yes.
And you'll see when we get into it why the plot's going to have to be different.
Absolutely. So let's read the synopsis here. Okay. Penelope Featherington has secretly adored her best friend's brother for, well, feels like forever. After half a lifetime of watching Colin Bridgerton from afar, she thinks she knows everything about him until she stumbles across his deepest secret and fears she doesn't know him at all. Colin Bridgerton is tired of being thought of as nothing but an empty-headed charmer, tired of the notorious gossip columnist Lady Whistledown, who can't seem to publish an edition without mentioning him. But when Colin returns to London from a trip abroad, he discovers nothing in his life is quite the same, especially Penelope Featherington. The girl who was always simply there is suddenly the girl haunting his dreams. When he discovers that Penelope has secrets of her own, this elusive bachelor must decide, is she his biggest threat or his promise of a happy ending?
Okay, and this is one I actually read the synopsis before I read the book, so I remembered all of it, and I have a comment to make about it later. So pin in that.
Okay. I wonder if your comment is the same as my comment.
Should we just make them now?
Colin doesn't have a secret?
Oh, no. While I was reading the book, I said, until she stumbles across his deepest secret, ... I thought the whole book, I was expecting him to be Lady Whistledown.
Wait, that would have been so funny.
It's like how Gossip Girl, like, in the show, it was definitely supposed to be Jenny, and then everyone guessed it, so they just made it Dan.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I was like, are they going to make it him?
That would have been very funny, actually. I would love to read, like, fan fiction of that.
Yeah, please. Probably exists. All right, let's get into Julia Quinn.
Okay, yes. So Julia Quinn, a.k.a. Julia Pottinger, which is her real name. Mm-hmm. Julia Quinn is obviously a pseudonym, is a historical romance author. She's written almost 40 books. 8 of them are in the Bridgerton series, and she has 4 that are in, like, a Bridgerton prequel series.
Okay.
Other than that, they're all historical romance, and I think they're, like, tied in. Like, I think all of her characters exist in the same universe.
That's what it looked like when I read, like, the little thing on the back cover with where it points to the different books. Yeah.
So, but they're not, like, all Bridgerton related. They're all historical fiction, or historical romance, excuse me. They're in that niche. But there's, you know, a lot of that going on. And she's very interesting as a background. Well, first of all, I didn't write this in the notes, but it was the literal first thing that was on her author bio page on her website, is that she won $79,000 on a game show once.
Oh my God.
I know. So girl boss. She just, like, can't lose wherever she goes.
Jesus.
Yeah. But she went to Harvard, and she was
smart. This is the second smart author in a row.
I know. Unfortunately. Competition for us.
Get us more stupid authors on here.
But she... kind of the same thing as, like, I think interested in just, like, a lot of stuff. Like, she majored in art history at Harvard.
Much like Taya Kupa with her alpaca farm.
Exactly. And then she was sitting around like, okay, what are my options for what I can do after Harvard? And she decided to go to med school.
Okay,
which is like, okay, sure. Queen pop off. But while she was preparing for med school and about to enter it, she wrote a couple of romance novels. She was, like, sitting and, like, reading her romance novels and eating her ice cream at home, and she was like, I can write one of these. I think we've all thought that, but she actually did it.
I literally texted you the other night. Yeah. I'm like, I should write these.
Yeah, well, you could be the next Julia Quinn. You just need to pretend to go to med school for a while.
I would be the next Emily Henry, actually.
Okay, we're not going to go there because you and I have differing opinions on her. But Julia Quinn, as she was in med school, realized, like, 2 of her books that she put up sold at auction.
Wow.
And while she was in med school for a couple of months, she was, like, on bestseller lists.
She was like, why the fuck do I need to be cutting people open?
Well, exactly, that's what she thought. She was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So she dropped out, and she has ever since been a full-time historical romance author. Yes. So
and then her big, like, kind of comeback in the 2020s.
Exactly.
When they made a show.
She was really well known. Like, the Bridgerton series was always really well known, but, like, amongst romance readers. Mm-hmm. And now it's had this, like, renaissance with this new and even wider audience. Mm-hmm. So she's still writing. Her most recent book was released in 2023, and it was the tie-in novel to the spin-off show Queen Charlotte.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And that was not a character that really existed in the Bridgerton books.
Yeah, no.
She was invented for the TV show and got very popular so that people wanted more about her. I'm not going to lie. I think Queen Charlotte is really annoying, but that's neither here nor there. So I probably won't read that, but pop off, Julia, get your bag.
Have you read, so we've already discussed the other Bridgerton books in the show. Have you read any of her other books?
I haven't. I might, because we'll get into this later. I like her writing. I think it's really nice. Mm-hmm. I love historical romance. They're easy to like whip through. But I have a bunch on my Kindle that I've bought like for $1.99 or whatever. So like I need to be reading those.
Can I share a thought about romance books that's not at all related to them as like entities? The dimensions of it. I hate it. Like romance.
A mass market paperback.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I'm looking because I borrowed your copy of
me.
Bridgerton. It was such a pain in the ass to read because I'm like, I'm borrowing this book. I don't want to like snap the spine. But I'm like, the words like go into the spine. I can barely read it.
I agree with you.
And I think that's why I don't read a lot of mass market paperback or mass market romance paperback.
Yeah, it's not comfortable to read a mass market paperback or even like not in a romance. If it's like like a book you buy at the airport.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a used bookstore and they have a bunch.
I hate it.
I agree with you. I am not a fan of mass market paperbacks.
Just thought I'd sprinkle that in.
I know, which is so unfortunate for me because I set so much stock in my identity as a tote bag girl, and they're so good for putting in your tote bag and being like, oh, I have a book in my tote bag, but alas, it's not meant to be.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get into the book.
Yes. And again, spoilers, but not spoilers for the show because apparently the plot's different and we haven't seen it.
We might speculate on what the plot will be. Maybe. We'll see.
Yes. I know a few details, but obviously not a full picture.
Only spoilers for season 1 and 2 of the show, and probably just season 2.
And maybe all of the books. The other ones probably aren't that relevant, but like maybe the ones before.
Okay. This book. Like I said, I didn't like the first Bridgerton book. Did not like this Bridgerton book.
They're not for you.
They're not for me, which is unfortunate because the show was so for me.
I know.
It was like the show was written with me in mind, but the books weren't.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely, like we said, this came out in 2002. So, like, things have changed.
Yes.
Such as the idea of Penelope as a plus-size character has changed. She has, I think in both the show and the book, all of the characters have, like, their glow-up.
Yeah.
Like, especially the show is notorious for, like, each, like, Bridgerton has a turn being the main character.
Yeah.
And the season before they're supposed to be the main character, the stylists make them really ugly. Do you remember that? Like, in season 1, like, how Anthony had, like, the giant mutton chops.
Oh, my God.
And, like, he just looked really bad.
Yeah.
So that when season 2 started, they could, like, make him look hot. And then you could be like, oh, Anthony.
Like, oh, he's my favorite Bridgerton.
Yeah, so I like the glow up, but in the book, the glow up did involve Penelope losing weight, which like now that people wouldn't write that in now.
I didn't like that.
It was pretty minor. So like in the grand scheme of things, like it's not like a plot point really.
Yeah,
but it was there and I didn't
mentioned
like it.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
But so the whole premise of the book is that Colin comes back from traveling. And he sees Penelope, and he's like, whoa, I never realized how beautiful you are. No, she, like, and there's more to that. She, like, reads his travel journals.
And she's like, Colin, you're such a good writer.
And he's like, oh, my God, no one's ever been nice to me. So then he starts thinking she's hot. And
that's my one thing that I hate. I literally wrote in my notes, I was like, why is Colin allowed to be hot? Because with Colin, it's like he's so beautiful. Women swoon over him, like blah, blah, blah. And then with Penelope, Colin is like, no one else sees that she's beautiful, but I do.
What a dick.
It's like, why can't other people see that she's beautiful?
The whole thing is like the entire book, Colin's just bitching about how he doesn't feel like he has a purpose. And he doesn't feel like his life has meaning. And then things get worse.
It's so funny because there's literally a point where Penelope was like, oh, I have been in love with Colin for my whole life, which is true. And she's like, but I never realized that he like was so spoiled. Because there's a part where they're arguing and Colin's like, I have no purpose. Like, I'm leaving no legacy.
And she's like, you're a rich white man in England.
She's literally like, okay, if you're unhappy, then do something. And he's like, it's not that simple. And she's like, well, then what do you want me to do? So actually here, before we go really off the rails on our rant, let's just say our problem with the book is that Colin's not that great.
Colin is, and I like Colin in the show. I don't have an issue with Colin in the show.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's just so bitchy in this book. And not like funny bitchy. Like he just complains a lot about nothing.
Yeah. For me, having read all of the Bridgerton books, this is a theme that is consistent throughout. and I'm not sure that I could think of an exception. Like, every book has a couple, and every couple is like one Bridgerton sibling and one rando, essentially. The Bridgerton is never the more interesting character.
No.
Sometimes it's a tie. But if there is one really good character, it is never the Bridgerton.
And I like Penelope.
Penelope is a great character. She has a lot going on, and I appreciate her for that.
She's just like, she should have stayed a spinster at that point. Like, it's just him complaining about not having purpose, like, the entire book.
Yeah, and you get both of their perspectives, and I'm like, honestly, I just want to hear about Penelope. Like, I don't need to be in Colin's head.
I wish, so in the show, a main focus is Eloise and Penelope's friendship.
Yes.
And I wish we had had that in the book.
Yes,
like,
it was there.
It was there and it's mentioned, but we didn't really get that, like...
emphasis.
Yeah.
And I will say, this might be an unpopular opinion. I hate Eloise in the show, but I love her in the book.
I'm not a big fan of her in the show.
She's so forced fake feminist, and not in a way that's interesting. It's just like her sister has a baby, and she's like, oh, because I'm a woman, you think I care about some dumb baby? And it's like, well, your sister had a baby.
Yeah, I'm like...
it's not feminist to be mean to her about it. So it's just like so one-dimensional.
Yeah, I know, I'm in agreement with you there.
Yeah. But Penelope had this, like, really, like, a lot going on, this really fleshed out interiority that Colin was just like, wow, everyone just thinks I'm pretty and nice. My life's so hard. And yet, like, Penelope is, like, not valued in terms of her worth on the marriage market, which is where, as a debutante, all of her worth is supposed to be placed.
Her family does not care about her.
Her mother doesn't love her. Her, like, she's like, I don't know what will happen with my future when I'm an unmarried spinster.
Like, she has actual concerns.
She is secretly Lady Whistledown.
Yes, which is... That's the other thread in the book. So I thought this was going to be a Gossip Girl book situation where they don't reveal it at all, and then the show just decided to make... It was revealed in season 2 of the show that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. Or...
in the season 1 finale.
In the season 1 finale, and then that's a big plot point in season 2. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just going to be for the show, so I was actually surprised when it was her in the book.
Yes, and actually, let's say real quick, Lady Whistledown is like the gossip columnist that writes about, in case you haven't...
She's the OG Gossip Girl.
She's literally exactly like Gossip Girl if you haven't read the book or seen the show.
Yes.
And it's not revealed, you know this whole time, a big plot of the book, essentially, aside from the romance, is that one of the characters, Lady Danbury, if you're familiar, says she will pay £1,000 to anyone who can find the identity of Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, so everyone starts to snoop.
Yes, and even though we're in Penelope's head, it is not revealed to us as the reader that Penelope herself is Lady Whistledown.
No, not for a while.
No, and actually we don't find out about it when we're in her head. We find out about it from Colin's perspective, which I did like.
I liked that too.
Because he's like, where the hell is this girl going? And then you see him be like, oh my God.
And the thing was, so how it's different in the show, because, and this is why season 3 is going to have a different plot, because in the show it's Eloise who basically hunts her down and follows her and finds out what happens.
Yes. In the show, Colin does not know, but Eloise knows.
Currently, it's only Eloise who knows in the show.
Yes.
Whereas in this book. So we're going to jump ahead a bit because there's still more to talk about with, like, the relationship and, like, the reveal of Lady Whistledown.
Yeah. I think people can follow pretty easy. This is not, like... last week when we were talking about Pachinko and we were like, oh, the threads, like, this is a mass market romance. Like, and I don't mean, here's the thing, I love romance novels. I'm not going to denigrate the quality of them, but I will not say that they are always that complicated. Because frankly, most of them are not. And that's why I like them. You can't compare
the complexity of this and Pachinko. Like, no.
Yeah, so I don't think our listeners will get that confused.
But... anyway, so it's a whole plot point so that someone's, like, pretends to be Lady Whistledown, like, finds out and blackmails Penelope... and then Colin, like, orchestrates the reveal. And
that's, like, the finale of the book is he, like, announces to the whole party. And he's like, my wife is Lady Whistledown.
And it's insane because it was so much, like, you remember seeing those things on, like, mylifeisawesome.com. And it's like, and I stood up to the bully and everyone started to clap.
They did all start to clap.
They all started to clap when she stood up to the bully who was blackmailing her.
Girl boss. I don't have anything to say about that.
I hated it. It was so cringy. Because in the there's, like, a lot of stakes on the line because, like, she's insulted a lot of people. And in the show, you can already see, like, her and Eloise's friendship is, like, damaged very severely in season 2 because of her being Whistledown. And then in the book, everyone clapped.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't even necessarily think it's a bad thing to reveal it. Like, I was all over that because she was basically like, this mean girl pretended to be Lady Whistledown essentially because the reward for revealing who it was £1,000. So this bitch girl was like, I would like £1,000 of money. And you have to be like, we have to be like, honestly, like, that's a good idea. Sorry, queen. Good job. But Penelope was like, I am not going to let someone who made me feel so small take credit for my life's work.
Which I understand.
You're like, good perspective. But then Colin is like, no, you can't do that because you'll be ruined in society, and I don't want that for you or for our children.
Yeah, and that's the whole conflict is like this, that she's going to be ruined in society.
Yeah, and you're also like, okay, that's also like not wrong.
Yes.
You know, good for you, Colin. But then you're not shown really how they overcome that. He's just like, oh, well, whatever, you know.
And they all clapped.
Whatever. I liked it. I didn't like, though, like when he was making the announcement, he kissed her, which is like, okay, in modern parlance, kissing is not a big deal, but this is a very conservative society. You don't just kiss in front of people. And then there was some like joke that he made that was, oh, and after this we'll be leaving the party early, wink. And then it's like, don't say that.
It's so cringy. Also, he's so into boobs this entire... He talks about her boobs probably almost every chapter in the book. I don't usually take notes on stuff like that for the pod, except for when it's just so much.
While we're on the topic, I have something else to say about the sex in this book, because there is some, and I say the word some on purpose, because if you have seen season 1 of the show, there is a lot. And it's very gratuitous.
Even though Grace has not seen season 1 of the show.
No, but I have heard what people say.
Grace is on TikTok. She's cool.
So, like, when I started reading the books, I was like, well, and, you know, they're, like, historical romance novels. Like, there'll probably be a lot of sex in them. And there really isn't. Although, here's what I'm going to say. If you read them, like, they don't really have a lot of sex in them, like, comparatively, except for the 6th one. The
sixth one?
Francesca.
Oh.
And it goes crazy. So I was like, something happened to Miss Julia Quinn when she wrote this book. Like, her marriage was going really well. I don't know. But, like, so much of the sex in this book, in Romancing Mister Bridgerton, is Colin describing something that he's like, this is something we're going to do. And then he's like, but we'll do it later. And then they don't do it. And then it happens like 3 times.
Grace, do you remember that tweet from a few years ago where it's like, LaCroix is like if you left a bottle of water sitting next to a fruit?
Exactly.
That's what it's like. Yeah, it's a sex scene if, like, it was sitting next to it and, like, it wasn't actually a sex scene.
Yeah, so before I read these books, all of the fans on the show of, like, on TikTok and, like, Instagram and stuff are like, oh, my God, when they make season 3 and they have to film the mirror scene, and it's like, okay. And then I read the book and I was like, they don't do any. There is no mirror scene. About
wanting to.
Yeah, they don't do anything. So I'm like, okay.
Also, in season 2 of the show, they really toned down how much sex was in it. Which, I don't know, maybe they got backlash from the... I mean, it's Netflix, though. Like, yeah, because the audience was, like, all for it.
Yeah, I think it just didn't fit with the story that they wanted to tell. Because the audience also was, like, I feel like even more into season 2, which was just, like, a pining season.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I don't know. So I will say what I know about the differences in the book and the season 3 of the show, of the Colin and Penelope story. There is going to be some element of Penelope deciding that she's giving up on Colin, which she kind of does in the book. She's like, I'm done, like, being in love with you and, like, wasting my time. And she's like, I'm going to find another husband, which she doesn't do in the book. In the book, she's like,
I'm going to be a spinster.
I'm just going to be a spinster, or, like, whatever. In the show, she's like, okay, I'm going to find a new husband. And Colin is like, well, I will help you because I know what men like. And she, like, has all these other suitors or whatever, and then I guess he gets jealous.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
We do love a jealousy season. We haven't had jealousy yet.
I love Colin's life being hard.
We've had fake dating. We've had pining.
Yes.
Enemies to lovers pining.
Well, there is going to be some similarities because I follow Bridgerton Netflix on Instagram, and they're obviously posting a lot of promo right now. And they posted a scene that was in the book,
pull it up now.
Which is when Colin cuts his hand on a letter opener and Penelope, like, puts her handkerchief on it, and it's like a moment where, like, oh, their hands are touching, and it's Regency England, so you're not supposed to do that. And it's, you know, like a high intensity, like, sexy moment. And they posted a photo of that, so they filmed that scene. So there's, like, stuff from the books that's coming into the show.
The costuming on the show is just so good.
It really is. And do you see what I mean about the glow up? Like, how good they look?
Yeah.
Because last season, they gave... I'm so sorry to the actor that plays Colin. They gave him some whack-ass facial hair in season 2 to make him ugly so that they could make him hot this season.
Yeah, they did make him really hot this season.
Yeah. So I have faith in it because I like those two actors and I think they do a good job.
I am super excited.
Yeah.
I like that the tagline is even a wallflower can bloom. I think that's really cute. I like that.
Go off, queen.
So this is just the tangent about the show again. I'm excited.
It's hard to, like, those things now are so, like, inextricably linked, I think.
Yeah.
Just because, like, they were books first, but I think people nowadays know the show more.
Yes.
So that's just
I agree.
really, yeah.
Especially with when they came out. But yeah, I didn't think this book had any stakes in it, which is crazy because I feel like in the TV show, Penelope has arguably the most stakes in the show.
Yeah. Well, really, for me, there are the two separate stories, and there's the Whistledown story, and there's the love story. And those things are intertwined, but they are two different things. For the romance to progress, like, nothing really happened, and nothing, like, there was no reason for it to happen. It just did. Mm-hmm. Like, when the book starts, Penelope has been in love with Colin for years.
Penelope is, like, just as good in the book as she is in the show.
Penelope is great. Like, 10/10, great character. Backbones, like, intelligence, love her. But there's, like, she's already in love with Colin when the book starts. Mm-hmm. So she's there, like, 100%. If he proposed to her on page 1, she would be like, yes. And he has, like, always just thought of her as, like, someone who's around because
like a sister type.
Yeah, she's friends with his sister. And then he comes back from his trip and he's like, oh, Penelope's nice to me.
It's very My Best Friend's Brother from the hit show Victorious.
I do love that song. But then, like, he, like, falls in love with Penelope, and he's, like, doesn't have a reason to change his opinion of her. Like, nothing really happens.
Oh, they make out once, and then he proposes.
Yeah, and that was just very much, like, it seems like I don't think the intention was to frame it this way, but it seems like he, like, wanted to make out with her, so he did. And then he realized that because he's a gentleman, then they have to get married, so they do.
That's how it comes across.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was how it was meant to.
I know. Although I did really like, and this is, I'll give Colin his props a little bit.
Okay.
I did really like, there's this touching scene where he goes to his sister Daphne's house, and Daphne got married in book 1, so she's already in love. Check mark. And he's like...
And of course, they're all love matches.
Of course. Everyone gets married for love.
The rarest thing in Bridgerton, in the Ton society. And then, of course, all the Bridgertons get a love match.
I know. And even in book 3, he marries a girl who's poor. Gas.
Yeah, right.
But he goes to his sister Daphne's house, and he says, how do you know? And she says, know
like
what? And he said, know when you're in love. And she's like, I can't tell you. You just, like, it creeps up on you.
But
she's
also basically like, well, if you're asking your sister... like,
yeah, so
writing's on the wall.
That was my one. Like, I thought that was sweet.
I like that part.
So there was that, but there again was just there's no reason for any of that to happen. And had all the Whistledown stuff not happened, that wouldn't have happened either.
Yeah,
like I feel like in a slightly better romance novel, it might be like, oh, because of this secret, they have to spend all this time together, and they find out new things from each other's perspective that they never thought of before, and that leads to them falling in love, but that was not really the case here. And case in point, their wedding happens during a time jump.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is a romance novel, and we're skipping their wedding, and that includes
honeymoon,
the wedding night. Like, I don't like not
I don't
to
know
go
if they
there.
had honeymoons back then, but
not to go there, but like we like
not to go there, but there wasn't enough fucking in this book.
Well, I'm just like, strategically pick the times that we're going to see the sex.
The mirror scene could have been a real scene.
It could have been, but Julia Quinn was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So she
was saving it all for book 6.
Yeah, that shows to me like the weakness in the romance plot of this one was when that got skipped.
Yeah.
We see most of the wedding nights, frankly, of the Bridgertons.
Yeah.
So
I didn't, it wasn't really convincing to me that they were like, he was in love with her, but
yeah. Well, also, I feel like when you read a romance novel, when they get married at the end, I feel like you want to believe that they're going to be like in delirious love forever. Like they're not ever just going to be, oh, we've been married for a long time. This is like, we kind of settled down. Like, this is our life. You believe that they're going to be like swooning over each other forever. And in this book, I feel like right away, when you see an Instagram post from a girl that you knew in high school, and it's her and her husband's like 2nd anniversary, and she's like, marriage takes so much work.
Like, despite all the fights.
Like, yeah, and you're like, okay, have you had any fun?
Yeah, it's
like I feel like that's what this
fun,
is.
yeah.
Like right away, like within the first 2 weeks, Colin is giving her the silent treatment about being Lady Whistledown, and it's like,
it's exhausting.
I'm so sorry that this is not going to be a fun life for you, but it really is not.
At least you're rich.
That is so true. Before, she was going to be poor.
Yeah.
So now at least she has money. So there's that. Really, I appreciate for her that she has a nice family. Because the Bridgertons are like, there's a lot of them and they love each other. So that's nice. I appreciate that. And as we said, like Penelope's mom is not nice to her.
It's like when you're from like a fucked up family and then you go over to your friend's house for dinner and they're like all getting along.
Exactly like that.
That's the vibe.
Net gain for Penelope, but the net gain is just like not related to being married to Colin.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, I married my best friend's brother, so now I'm part of her family, and we can have sleepovers.
So now I have a sister.
Yeah, that was the pro.
Let's go into something funny that happened with the end of this book.
Okay.
So actually, You
told me about this last week after we were done recording.
You didn't read it. So Julia Quinn, romance novels have epilogues, and it's when you see, like, oh, they've been married and they're going to have a baby and, like, blah, blah, blah. It's like you're proving that the happily ever after is true. But people wanted, like, more Bridgerton content, and so after a few years, Julia Quinn wrote a second epilogue to each one of the books. Mm-hmm. And she used it to fix a plot hole that she created by accident, which is, so the book after this one is Eloise. Mm-hmm. And her thing is that she, like, runs away to be with this guy that she's been writing love letters to, which is, like, cute.
Hinted at in this book, too.
Whatever, yeah. So, but then the place she runs away from is the ball where everyone clapped. Yes. Where she announced that she's Lady Whistledown and everyone clapped. And then I don't think she noticed, but all of the fans were like, Miss Julia Quinn, Eloise never found out that Penelope was Lady Whistledown. So she was like, shit.
Which is funny because the show went the complete opposite way.
Yeah, so they were like, we are not going to get sucked into this again. So in the second epilogue is when they, like, tell Eloise, because clearly she was like, okay, she has to know at some point.
That's really funny.
Yeah. But I think, like, after this, Lady Whistledown ceases to be. So if they do 8 seasons of the show, yeah, because
they're going to have to keep it going in the show.
I know, well, because Penelope's like, I'm retired. Andrews. No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, it's Julie Andrews.
The voice of Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, like how Kristen Bell is Gossip Girl.
Yes.
So I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do, because in the remaining 4 books, there's no more Lady Whistledown.
That's crazy. It's too big of I think it's smaller role in the books. It's too big in the show.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning of the chapters, a lot of them, they have like a little section from Lady Whistledown, cute, like summing up of a party or like something that happened in the plot. Like they drive forward. And because the next book, Eloise's, is so driven by letters,
it replaces that.
That's at the beginning. And then I don't know if after that, I can't remember now, if they have something else for the remaining 3 or if they just kind of ditch that.
Okay.
But at least in Eloise's, they have something to like kind of ease you into like Lady Whistledown being gone.
I hate that she's gone. I kind of want to read the future ones. We'll see.
I know.
But
she's fun.
Talking about Lady Whistledown, I think, is a good way to segue to the historical accuracy, because I see that's what a lot of your notes are about.
Yes, let's get there. So honestly, I figured it would not be that helpful for me to just talk generally about London, like Regency high society. Like, I feel like it's pretty...
We're not reading this book for the accuracy. We're not watching the show for the accuracy.
No, this is not going to get high accuracy ratings from either of us, I don't think. But, like, I think that's just so general that it's, like, not helpful for me. So instead, I've decided to talk today about scandal sheets and gossip columns, which I think is very interesting. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about what Lady Whistledown is based on and where it isn't accurate to real life.
Okay.
Yes. So first, let's talk about what led to this proliferation of, like, high society gossip in Regency London.
They didn't have Twitter yet.
They had to write everything down and send it through the mail. But anyway, so there was like a confluence of things that led to a culture for the gossip industry to thrive, which basically is there was something passed in 1695, which is a long time before this book happens.
#old.
Yes. The 1695 Licensing Act, where previously there was like an artificial limit on the number of printing presses that like were in the country, and that was removed.
Oh.
So basically, if you could buy a printing press or build one, you could have one. Mm-hmm. So good for you. And then also around this time, a lot of the power was being taken from the monarchy and redistributed through Parliament.
Okay.
So it's still very concentrated, but like way different than just having one guy that's in absolute power of everything. So there is slightly more freedom of the press. Because also, like, if you're the government and people have the power to speak out against the government and the government is one guy, then the one guy is just going to be like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more leeway to chit-chat. But then also in 1814, the mass-producing industrial printing press was popularized.
Okay.
So coupled with a really big boom in the population of London. It just absolutely skyrocketed. And there were, like, not really libel laws. So there were a lot of people to talk about and to read, and there was a lot of paper to be printed, and you could gossip about whatever you want, basically, and not get sued for it.
Fantastic.
Yes. So here are some differences and similarities of Lady Whistledown to some real-life scandal sheets, as they were called. Lady Whistledown is its own paper. Like, it's just, like, one piece of paper that gets delivered to the Ton every other day.
It's me sending Grace tweets every morning.
But most scandal sheets were, like, gossip columnists in, like, larger newspapers that also reported on other things. So a lot of, they were called the Morning Post, Town and Country, the Female Tatler. Like, those were the newspapers that printed other things.
Gotcha.
Lady Whistledown is just Lady Whistledown.
Okay.
So that's not really true. And in this case, this is not even something that's, like, changed or incorrect, because Julia Quinn draws attention to this in the book.
Yes.
Lady Whistledown is out here using first and last names. She is not shy. If she wants to say Cressida Twombly is a huge bitch, she will.
She really, like, predicted the movement of going back to your hometown with your friend and, like, dropping first and last names over margaritas.
Exactly like that. But actually, and this is referenced in the book, most places would only use, like, letters or veiled, vague descriptions, but people would know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So if I was like, you know, a certain podcast host was late to record today.
And it was you.
Okay, I was on time. Then you would know that that meant me.
Or it's like how we said at the beginning of the episode, we have a certain runner enemy. All of our friends listening know who we're talking about.
Exactly. Or if I said E.H. is not wearing her Kermit sneakers today.
Exactly.
Then you'd be like, oh, E.H.
Drag
Erin
of the
Harvey.
century.
Yeah. So it's like this way that's like a technicality, but everyone knows what you mean.
Yes.
And I have one that I have copied and pasted in here that I will read to you
Fantastic.
because I thought it was funny. So, like, and also, this is the type of shit that these people were getting into. Like, I feel like Lady Whistledown was almost tame in comparison.
She just, like, called people ugly.
Basically, yeah. She was just like, Colin Bridgerton danced with Penelope Featherington, and she looked horrible. So sad. Like, and that was, it was like a Trump tweet, honestly. But here's one that is actually pulled from Town and Country, I believe. On Sunday morning last, when Lord Blank returned from church, he was met on entering his house by his daughter, a child only 6 years of age, whom he accompanied to the door of the nursery, which he found closed, and on looking through the keyhole, he saw his lady with an intimate friend of his lordship in such situation that is not to be described. This is 2 sentences, by the way. That's one. There's one more.
They love commas.
Yes, they do not like the period. His lordship instantly flew to his chamber and, seizing a pistol, returned to the door of the nursery at the moment it was opened by the adulterer and leveled it at his head. By raising his arm, he avoided the fatal effects of the ball, which he received in his right arm, by which it was shattered.
Holy shit.
The encyclopedia article that I took this from said, like, okay, maybe it doesn't say who the guy was, but if you're walking around and you see a guy with his right arm in a cast, you're like, that's him. You know?
Incredible.
Yeah. So in the books, like in Bridgerton, Lady Whistledown is kind of used only by the society to, like, keep tabs on what's going on. But, like, poor people would read these.
Yeah.
Like, if you had the money to buy a newspaper,
They would know.
like, it's your entertainment.
Oh,
like, it's
yeah.
going to be talking about the prince and all of his mistresses. It's going to be talking about actresses.
It's like us poor people on Twitter now.
It's exactly like that. Obviously, I think celebrities use social media and, like, reference social media. But the people,
the masses.
you know, driving the profits are the poors.
Yes.
Essentially. So, yeah, it's not a lot for me to go into. It's just like a little light, fun,
like I
fluffy
said,
stuff.
we are pushing the boundaries of historical fiction today.
Yeah. Well, it's very historical. It's just like, how relevant is it?
We don't really, the history of it, I don't really care about.
No, that's not the point.
This could have been not at all accurate, and I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, the point is falling in love.
But
so, I'm happy with that.
I think it's time to go into our star calculator, created by data scientist Ashley on the categories of historical accuracy, vibes, prose, originality, and characters.
All right.
And Grace, I'll let you take it away.
Let's go. Historical accuracy, I'm giving it a 3. Like, there was a little bit in here that was wrong, but really it's just the fact that, like, the setting is not because it's important to history. It's just so we can have, like, balls and fancy dresses and, like, yeah, I like it. I love a Regency romance. It's fine. Vibes, I'm giving it a 3 because, like, Colin kind of dragged the party down. And like I said, like, the Whistledown Penelope stuff I was into, the romance less so, Colin less so. So it balances out to a 3. Pros 4. That's why I like these books. I like Julia Quinn. I don't think I meant to work this in somewhere. There are 8 books, and this is, like, my 5th favorite.
Okay.
So there's worse, but there's definitely better. So, you know, but I just like her writing even when the plots or characters are, like, slightly less. Originality, 4. I like the old-timey Gossip Girl. I'm working with it. I like Penelope. I think Penelope is a unique character. She has a lot of substance to her, which I think romance is not incorrectly criticized for not featuring women that have substance to them. So I appreciate that. Characters, 3. Again, we're down the middle here. Yeah. So that's an average of a 3.4. When I first rated this on Storygraph, which was when I read it the first time in 2022, I gave it a 4. Oh. So there's a big discrepancy here. But I will say, like, when I read, I was like, yeah, when I read it this time, I was like, 4 is a little high, but, like, I like these. And I like the experience of reading them.
That was, when you rated that was probably before you read the other half of the series, too.
Well, I was, like, reading all of them in succession and having a fun time.
Point was different.
Yeah, I was having a fun time doing it. I don't know. I don't regret giving it a 4 because I'm just like, I like that I read all the Bridgerton books. I had fun with it and I would do it again. So I'm fine. Like, is this the best book in the world? No. Did I like it? Yeah, whatever.
For me, I'm going to give the historical accuracy a 3. I had no issues with it. It just wasn't really that important to me.
Yeah.
Vibes, I give it a 4 because I love pretty ball gowns and balls. That's really what the setting did for me, and I liked it. Also, I just like the Bridgerton universe.
Exactly. It's fun.
Pros, I gave it a 2. Like, it was fine. Originality, I gave it a 2. It would have gotten higher because I like the concept if it wasn't for the, and then they all started clapping scene. That
dropped it a whole point.
That killed it for me. Characters, a 2 because I really only cared about Penelope. So that's a score of 2.6, and I gave it a 2.5 on Storygraph. Unfortunately for me, that means this is our first flop of the season.
Wah, wah.
At least in my point of view. However, the show is a 5.
Exactly.
So would I read the rest of the books? Probably not. Am I going to rewatch the show before it airs this week? Yes.
100%. So yeah, I'm on the camp of fine. I would not give this a 5. I wouldn't have when I first read it either. But I think if you read, here's the thing about Bridgerton. If you're going to read the Bridgerton books, I agree with you, Erin. The first one's not that good. Yeah. I think for me, I ranked the first one like 7 of 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I really like the second one. So if you like the second Bridgerton book, then I would recommend reading them all. If you don't, that's like one of the better ones. So then I would give up. So that's my advice.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, next week we are on a completely different train and we're reading Half of a Yellow Sun, which is a very famous and well-known book that I have also read before. So we have even more that one of us have read before. And in the meantime, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at @5orflop_pod.
And you can use our Storygraph reading challenge if you want to follow along with us this season.
All right. You can also take a look at the recommendation form in our bio. Email us with any questions, 5orfloppodcast@gmail.com. Julia Quinn, also, if you want to come on and chit-chat with us.
Please, I want to meet Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan Bailey, if you want to come on.
Jonathan Bailey, please come on the podcast. You can even grow your mutton chops if you want.
And until then,
happy reading.
Bye.